we're running through our principles and we're having a bit of fun. So we thought, why not record this and, and share what's going on in the heads of Ava and Em. So we've got our principles here. This is the kitchen here at Creative Rootz. And we're looking at the principles. There's 5 principles. And the first one is that God is a non-dual good. God is all there is. Every person is an individualized expression of God. So, number 4, the universe, being infinite, is in a constant state of evolutionary expansion. Now we're on to our final and 5th principle. And it's my favourite. I don't know about you, Ava, but this is my favourite. Each individual is 100% responsible for their own perception. I love this principle. I have been into this principle before I knew it was a principle. So when I come across Ho'oponopono with Dr. Hugh Len, I heard him say that we're each 100% responsible for our own thing. And it led me on this mad journey of looking at, well, what's responsibility and who's responsible? And I recognized that I found this thing called the circle of responsibility. And I recognized that actually I was trying to be responsible for loads of things that I shouldn't be responsible for. And I was getting myself all tied up in knots. And that led me to recognize that I was able to drop things. And it's like, hold on, if I'm not responsible for that, and I'm making myself responsible for that, I need to drop that and let go of the BS, my belief systems around what's responsible and what I can do, and let go. So I was able to let go of the things that I wasn't actually responsible for and concentrate on myself. It's one of the best things that I ever did. So coming back to being 100% responsible for me and not anyone else changed my life. And it was really big thing for me to do. And it was early on in my healing. So how we choose to perceive and interpret the world and the phenomena in this dimension is completely and only our responsibility. 100% our responsibility. Do you want to talk a bit about that, Ava?
All I can say is that I agree. That's why just, everything that is happening in my life, I recognize that is just reflection of what I believe, what I think, what I feel. And if I align myself with really the truth of myself, or let's say what I want, that will express itself in the outside world. So basically, it's getting out of my victim consciousness, in which I think that somebody's doing something to me, somebody's responsible for something happening to me. No, it's always been and is and always will be me. So just basically, that's the thing of recognizing and respecting that. And if I feel a certain feeling around something I did, I am the only one who needs forgiveness, and I embrace myself and I recognize that it happened. I take responsibility for it. And if there are any feelings coming up, anger, I don't know, maybe sadness, maybe I don't know what else, I always embrace my feelings and say thank you. Thank you so much. I never push anything against. That's what I actually wanted to go into, because for some reason there is this programming that tells us to fight against everything, fight, resist. But as Carl Jung said, what we resist persists. So that's why we keep recreating the same reality. So instead of pushing against Trump, I love Trump. I embrace Trump. And I say, hey, I don't know anything about your life, why you are the way you are. I don't agree, but hey, you are also God. There is God within you, and you can wake up at any moment. And I love you. I just don't agree with you. and I just release you. So the same as emotions. I said Trump, right? But I meant any emotion. It's just to thank that emotion for or feeling or thought or action, something, act. Just thank it. Okay, you served me for some time, but I recognize that I don't need you anymore. But I release you with love. And that's what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you. So I want to point out here, it's like taking responsibility is not saying that it's your fault or or making anything all right. It's a bit like forgiveness. So when I was a victim of childhood sexual assault and trauma, and I've also had been raped in my life. So there's these things where you think that's pretty hard stuff, that's pretty heavy stuff. How do you take responsibility when shit like that happens? And the way that I personally have found I'm able to do it is when I acknowledge that it happened. No one's saying it didn't happen, and I know that it was a very real experience that I experienced. How do I take responsibility for something that happened when I was a child? I wasn't responsible for me when it happened. But what I am responsible for, 100% responsible for, is my thoughts about it. Now I can allow the data, the stories to replay in my head, which is pretty much PTSD. When we go through traumas, regardless of our age, things replay in our heads. We're able to be with that trauma, and we're able to say, well, actually, you're not having no more power now. You have had enough power. Like when I'm saying you, I don't mean you. I mean, I'm talking to myself here. So I'm talking to myself and saying, listen, I have put so much energy into things. I have spent years of my life feeling sorry for myself and thinking it was my mum's fault or my family's fault, or why didn't someone save me? Why didn't things stop? Why did whatever? Why and who and how, and all these stories that I told myself. When I started taking responsibility, I realized I was 100% responsibility for how I allowed it to be in my mind. And, I wasn't ready to forgive at that point. And what I needed to do is recognize, where was I putting my power? Where was I putting my energy? Am I putting my energy into the experience that isn't here, right now, in this moment? And what is going on right here, right now, in this moment that I can actually be with? Is there something that I can be grateful for in this moment? When things replay, how can I meet my own needs right here, right now, in this moment? And it's true, as a child or even as an adult when I was raped, it wasn't my fault. But how can I take responsibility for me right here, right now, in this moment? And if I come back to myself, what are my needs right here and right now in this moment? Do I need to give myself some love, some compassion? Do I need to just hold myself? Do I need to say, it's okay? It's okay. What happened, happened. It doesn't make it right, but right now I'm safe. Do I need to maybe eat some chocolate or treat myself to making a hot chocolate? Or do I need to get a shower? Do I need to cleanse? Do I need to smudge? Or there's many different ways of doing things. We have our own different tools. What can I do right now to honor myself in this moment? How can I take 100% responsibility? So it was learning to listen to the needs of you could call it, if you was doing Ho'oponopono, the inner child. You could call it your subconscious. You could call it the shadow work. whatever you call it, is how can you meet your needs right now, right here, in this moment? That's how you take responsibility. You're not trying to push anything away. You don't have to say that this person was right or this person was wrong, but where are you putting your energy into? And don't you think that regardless of what you've gone through, which was a huge thing in your life, but regardless of what you've gone through, don't you think that that experience has had enough power? And what could you do if you honored yourself and took your power back? How amazing would it be if you weren't allowing the stories to replay in your mind? And I know what it's like to have nightmares and to wake up in sweats on, be scared to fall asleep. And I know about all sorts of personal experiences and being scared and living scared. But as I started taking my power back, and it's exactly the same for every single one of us, I recognized where my strength lied, or where it told me lies, and where I could find my strength again, where I could reclaim my power, how I could change my life, how I could change my story. Because although these things happened, what could I learn? How could I grow? How could I honor my truth of who I really am? Because I am not that scared child anymore. I am not that voiceless woman. I am not that bullied teenager. I am a unique emanation of the most divine. I am absolutely capable. I hold that capacity to love despite the pain. I hold the power to show up in the world and speak as a lighthouse, so that those who are going through those storms in life can come back to who they are and recognize what's possible, because we all contain those possibilities and the power and the potentials, because it's who we really are beneath the trauma. So recognize that balance is possible. Recognize where you are right here, right now, in this moment. Where is your power line? Where are you placing that power? What are the stories that you're telling yourself? How can you get over the BS and return right here, right now, to this present moment where there is all there ever is? So please, this is why it's my favorite, and through the Ho'oponopono, which me and Ava both do every week, it's what we both practice. It allows you to overcome your trauma, even the things we don't even know about, through the Ho'oponopono prayer, which is, I love you. We're not saying I love Trump. We're saying I love me, and I love the data, the fact that I get to clean on the shared data between me and Trump. When Dr. Hugh Lem was working with rapists and murderers, he didn't meet them, but he cleaned on the shared data. What is it that comes up in me when I think of this person or I see this name? How can I take 100% responsibility for me and my misperceptions? How can I return back to zero? We keep cleaning. So that's why Ho'oponopono can help you to reclaim who you are and return to the roots of who you are, the truth of who you are, without replaying the data. We don't have to replay the data. The Ho'oponopono as a mantra has helped me, I don't know how many times, as soon as I get to remember it, because sometimes you're having a panic attack, anxiety attack. We don't always remember, but sometimes if you keep a memory card or something about, you can return to yourself and remember, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I thank you. So I'm loving the fact that I get to clean on the shared data. I'm thankful for that, I love my inner child. I love the fact that I get to honor and take responsibility for my stuff. I'm so thankful, so grateful. And I'm asking myself to forgive me. What am I trying to forgive? I'm forgiving myself for misperceptions. I'm forgiving myself for giving away my power. I'm forgiving myself for forgetting who I really am. And am I sorry? Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I keep forgetting that. And I'm sorry I keep getting caught up in my illusions. I'm sorry I keep forgetting, you know, the truth of things. But I am only human. And as a human, I make mistakes and I get a chance to turn around and start again. So grateful for Ho'oponopono. So grateful that I can take 100% responsibility no matter what. So how we choose to perceive what we think and see and take responsibility for it is so important. God is the only thing occurring in its fullness. We don't have to say God. We can say the universe. We can say cosmic goodness. We can say great spirit. But life, God, great spirit, the purple-headed unicorn, it's the only thing that is occurring in its fullness. And if we see anything other, so it's like this cosmic goodness, and if we see anything other than what is pure, whole and complete, anything other than God, we can come back to ourselves, taking responsibility. Where am I? I'm right here. What time is it? Oh, it's now. So I'm right here and right now. How can I take responsibility for me right here, right now? I'm going to be sorry for misperceiving what I think I'm seeing and bring myself back and breathe, maybe have a cup of tea and come back to that state of clarity. What is it really that's going on here? How am I misinterpreting the world around me? How can I return to the truth? You know, so if I'm seeing anything than what I think that I'm seeing, I get to stop and take responsibility for my misperception. Remember the principles. God is a non-dual good. God is all there is. Every person is an individualized expression of God. The universe, being infinite, is in a constant state of evolutionary expansion. And each person, that's me and all of you, we are, every single one of us is 100% responsible for their own perception. So when I do that, I get to clean the data. I get to clear away the condensation. I get to get clear. I get to bring clarity. And when I do that, I get to see with my expanded awareness. I get to respond instead of react. And I get to see through the awareness, the consciousness of truth, and behold what's called the Holy Observer effect. Did you want to speak about the Holy Observer effect, Ava? No? Okay. I will try and explain because it's something that I'm learning. Where can I'll just spin you around because that was the... So the Holy Observer effect is this, it's what they believe it's what Christ had. It's, you know, when people have miracles happen, or so-called miracles, they perceive that miracles happen, it's called the Holy Observer effect. And it's when we recognize absolute truth, we realize that there's only the truth and that's all there is. And we get to know it on such an intense level that we live it and we experience it. Once we get to a certain level of awareness and knowingness in our head, when we look at something, it can make it disappear. So we can make things disappear, like cancer. I've seen it, I've experienced it. We can look at what we're told is truth, and we know that actually it's a story. It's a thing. So although it's real, so you can see the cancers there, it's part of data. And this has been proven in many scientific things, but it's very important you believe it. If you don't believe it, it won't work. Right? So the holy observer effect is the fact that when we see through thine eye be single, so when we see it with our absolute knowingness, and we can look at the so-called reality or what appears to be true with our outer eyes, but know that it's absolutely a belief system, and therefore it's just data playing out. It doesn't exist. We know that everyone is whole and complete and perfect within that unified field. God never works against itself. The divine never works against itself. And we remember the condition, the qualities, or the qualities that this absolute intelligence is, that divinity is. When we recognize that, when we look, we can bypass the data, because we know it was all just the story, because we're seeing truth with our inner eye, like our third eye, whatever you want to call it, and we know it, we feel it in every cell of our being, that what appeared to be will then go. That's why people go to practitioners for prayer, because they know that certain people in the world, there's a whole hospital that does it. There's a hospital, was it China or Japan or something, and they did this thing, and we watched a video on it, and basically we seen on the ultrasound there was cancer present, and we seen the thing, and we watched them, and all they had was the ultrasound, and they had 4 doctors that didn't have any surgical tools, nothing, and they chanted their word around the woman, and as they chanted it, the cancer just vanished, the growth vanished, and that's how she healed her cancer. And it's happened for many other things. So I don't know, is it Joe Dispenza covers that kind of thing? We also have,
That was Greg Graydon. That was Greg Graydon, and
that's it.
They were chanting in Chinese.
Yeah.
Already done. Like the word that actually means already done. And within, I think it was 30 seconds, I think you can see
Something like that.
shrinking, tumor.
Exactly. Thank you for that. So basically, that's it. It's been proven. We've got people like Dr. Bruce Lipton, who proves, like, through epigenetics and stuff, he has proved that this is a thing. There's a lot of science now supporting it, whereas it used to be woo-woo, and we used to be able to go to for psychic surgeries and things like that, and it was seen as a bit weird. Now it's actually seen as scientific truth and proof and reality. So can we get over our belief systems, take 100% responsibility for what we misperceive, and then can we look a fact in the face and know that it is a BS? Today someone was saying something, and they were saying it with that you could tell they were very passionate about what they were saying, but I knew in every ounce of my being, every cell in my body, that was lies. And I was able to know and stand in my truth without putting my truth on anyone else. And I just thought, no, but it's not for me to be telling someone else their truth. It's me to say, this is how it is. Like on this video today, this thing that we're doing, me and Ava, we're not pushing our views on anyone. We're saying this, in our experience, is our truth. We have found this to be the one thing that has got us to where we're at today. We have great faith in this because of our own personal experiences, our livelihoods, and how we got to now. And we have lived experience of the divine. So we get to now because of things like Ho'oponopono, because of the Agape International, because of like the International Metaphysical Ministry, who I'm ordained with. So for us, this is our life, this is our truth, and we know it on a in-depth way. Like, we are living these principles, we are living in alignment to the best of our ability with things like universal law. We are knowing and growing in God, and we are taking 100% responsibility. And that's why we were sat here today, because we were discussing things, and I'm sure you can tell we are so passionate about life, about how we can show up in the world, about how other people show up in the world, and about all the amazing things that there are that allow us to recover parts of us, to reclaim our power, and to return to our sovereignty, the truth of who we really are. Ava?
Wow, that was beautiful. Thank you. So one of the things I wanted to add is that, you know, we are unique emanations of God, and we have within us the code, the God code, and all those principles are working for us, and also qualities of God, like wholeness and love and peace and abundance and harmony and beauty, joy, happiness. But also we have a free will, so we can always choose something else. And when Em was talking about Jesus healing, you guys can notice that he would always ask first, do you want to be whole? He wouldn't just go and heal somebody. He would need somebody's agreement, and permission to heal. And we don't actually need Jesus. And Jesus said that we can do much more than he did. So it is all possible. But again, it's all about seeing and feeling and knowing the truth, what is true. So that's why people come to sessions or, for prayer to practitioners, Agape licensed spiritual practitioners. Like, I am actually a licensed practitioner. And the role of a practitioner is holding firmly the truth about somebody and knowing that whatever is expressing, like something that may appear an issue, a problem, health issue, or whatever issue, it's not real. It's just somebody's experience or beliefs or whatever it is that caused it to happen. But I know and I see everybody as abundant, loving, in perfect health, just thriving, because everybody is that God presence expressing itself uniquely. So that's what I know, and that is what Em knows, and she experienced, as you listened, she experienced lots of issues, cancer, stroke. She was blind for some time, and she didn't take pharmaceuticals, for example, but she healed herself knowing the truth. So if you are experiencing any of these issues, just write some comment and reach out to us. And also, the Creative Rootz Ministry is just starting to build up, and appear in physical form more and more every day. But also, if you are willing and if you have an opportunity, if you have means to help, I would ask Em to drop like a link or something you can donate to the ministry so she can continue her mission. and her purpose. She was called, you know, to be here, and she is standing in her truth and building this ministry, even physically, you know, like with a hammer and some stuff. She's doing things just to create this beautiful place and space of unconditional love where everybody is always welcome. Everybody. It doesn't matter what you believe. It doesn't matter how you look like. I'm sure also aliens are welcome. But thank you, Em, for this beautiful presentation. I love you, and you are amazing, such an inspiration, and it's such an honor and privilege to be in your presence. I truly, truly am grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Ava. I love you so much. I'm so grateful for our prayer partnership, our friendship, and you being my data, and the right use of technology that always brings us together, no matter the spaces and the places. We're always there. We're always showing up. And yes, Creative Rootz Ministry. Ava's got to see the ministry appear. She remembers, I'm sure, how when we first met, the ministry wasn't a thing. And then I got this vision. I mean, I'd had the vision for Creative Rootz and creating a space and place for people to come back to recover from trauma and grief. I even knew about my books that I've written on grief and returning to ourselves through permaculture. But, you know, I didn't even know that I was going to, you know, other than I knew that I was Rev Em, I didn't realize that I was going to start a ministry. And it came through during meditation. And I was like, wow, really? How? But I'm just me. And then I recognized that actually that was part of the belief system I was telling myself, because really, who am I? Who are you? Who is any of us? We are all just unique emanations of the divine showing up in a way only we know how. Like, all my life experiences led me to this here now moment. Everything that pushed me through learning the psychology, learning the to understand the mind, all the different things, the practices that have got me through different levels of recognizing things, of expanding my own awareness so I could learn more about myself, and that I could work on things to overcome things like my CPTSD that no longer exists. You know, the amount of shadow work that I've done, the amount of things that I've experienced is only so that I am able to help others. Like, as I keep clearing my data and other people show up, I get to clean more data, and I get to give them space and a place, and I get to listen, which is an honor, and I get to be able to help by just being present with their very presence, because that's a gift. And I get to be, you know, some of the greatest honors I've had have been listening to people who are sitting with suicide and things like that. And I got to be there, and I got to listen. And, you know, I am so grateful for everything that I've been through, that everything that I continue to grow through. I'm so grateful that I have this amazing space. I'm so grateful that for all the things that are just showing up for me, and how the Creative Rootz Ministry has came out of no thing into something, and now we have a ministry. Some people, like over 100 people, watch the ministries at weekends, and it's been over just a few months now that we now have people coming in from all over the globe to watch. The people are following us on the Facebooks and things and social media. There's a little community of people that are all bobbing about doing things that they all love in the name of serving. service and serving people like you. So we get to serve, we get to love, we get to show up, we get to be that place that contributes to world peace, because it always starts with you. It starts with me, and it grows and it expands infinitely. And now we're international ministry. We've got myself, we've got Ava, and we just continue to grow and expand. And I am so grateful for everything. So grateful to be alive, so grateful to get to show up in this way. I never thought it would be possible. I never thought that I'd be able to see again, but I thought I'd give it a go. I never thought that I'd overcome the PTSD. You know, there's so many things that I never thought was possible. When I learned that I was possible, that I'm impossible is I'm possible, and I recognize that actually that's a good place to start and keep trying. It was all a great scientific experiment at first. We'll just see if it'll work, shall we? And then it did. And now look, you know, so, you know, I'm really grateful for today. I'm super glad that we got to go through these principles, and I'm sure you'll have more coming from us pretty soon. But thank you. Thank you, Ava, for being an inspiration and being data. And thank you for watching. If you've hung out this long, may you all find your peace. May you all remember your safety. May you all stand on your stable ground, and may you all remember and recover the roots of who you truly are beneath the BS. So big loves to all.